This conference is brought to you by CallStack, a total software engineering consultancy.
Hey, thank you, man. Yeah.
Thank you, Mo.
Hello, React Universe Conf.
Yeah, hello.
Wow, we are so excited to be here.
Honestly, I don't know if I can handle the pressure after his Mo intro, but let's see. All right.
Yeah, I've been here for a couple of years, but this is the biggest and best that I've ever seen this conference.
Like honestly, I never felt like this venue would be so packed. This is crazy.
This is incredible. And today we are here to talk about how you can server render without rendering on the server.
And I guess that doesn't make any sense, but let's introduce ourselves anyway.
So this is Mike Grabowski. As you already heard, he is the founder and CTO of CallStack. You know, not only are they hosting this conference, but they also hosted ReactConf earlier this year. And he was contributing to React Native way back in 2016. He helped with the release process a lot, and you also added a bunch of cool features to the CLI.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Yeah, so sorry, I was afraid I'm gonna click the next slide. So we met with Merrick, I think back in 2015, and actually I just realized that's almost 10 years, man. Like, that's crazy. Anyway,
are we old? Is that how it works?
I'm not saying anything. Anyway, so we met with Eric back in 2015. He was on the React Native team. He created a bunch of cool projects, and one of them was React Navigation that he created together with some other folks from the community. He's now CTO at Seed Hypermedia, a decentralized publishing system.
Yeah, so I guess by day we're CTOs, and by night we're working together on cool open source stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all always looking for more contributors.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be a CTO.
Yeah, it's nice to have, you know.
Nice to have, you know. So our goal is to enable you to deliver new features and content to your users as fast as possible.
And we are the first people in the world to ever have this idea.
Oh, yeah. Internet Explorer, they invented the web, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, OK, just kidding. We're going to accomplish this with server-defined rendering, which allows your server to define the components that your client will render.
And up until React Server Components, we haven't been really talking about React server-defined rendering much in the open source community.
We haven't been talking about it a lot in open source, but it's incredibly popular in the industry. So server-defined rendering is already used by countless large companies. Instagram has a framework that they use called blocks. Shopify uses this technique as well as Lyft. And, you know?
Yeah, in fact, it's so common that we could pretty much put any three apps on this slide and it would still make sense.
Yeah, server-defined render. Look at these old app icons. You know, they didn't even have servers back in 2008, so I don't think that's a possibility.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you know, if Instagram's been doing this for so long, I guess my question is, why don't we all do this more often?
Well, it's kind of tricky, you know, to do server-defined rendering. The client framework needs to integrate very tightly with the server, and there's just a lot of moving pieces. But we want to make it super easy. And that is why we built Rise Tools.
A suite of libraries to help you make server-defined rendering super easy in your mobile apps. It has modular design so that you can integrate it into any application, anytime, and it doesn't matter what it is that you're using.
Yeah, what do you think? OK. So Mike, you make it sound so easy, like as if we could just take any app that's like on my phone right now, and we could like server render something in there. Like that would be crazy. Like, you know what? I'm just going to pull out my phone. I'm going to challenge you.
OK.
All right. The first app that opened up is the React Universe Conf app, right? Which I'm sure all of you have right now. What a coincidence, right? So what if we could like add server-defined rendering in here and change this application right now with it in production in all of your hands?
Well, I guess it's too late. You know, this one has been out in production for quite a while now.
It's too late? What is this? Is this like a pull request? It's so blurry, Mike, I can't even see it.
Yeah, you got me. Guilty.
Guilty. Oh, no. What have you done?
Yeah.
Now you're in trouble.
Now I'm in trouble because we have to do it. So, yeah, let's do a little live demo, I guess. Let's see what we can do with Rise Tools.
So you've added Rise Tools to the React Universe Conf, I guess about a week ago. So this demo, by the way, is absolutely insane. If it works, like this is just going to be crazy.
Yeah. We're
Okay.
done.
And here we are in what looks like a normal React Native developer environment, right?
Yes, but it's not. So what you see on the right is obviously a production build of the conference app so that you can see the preview from the simulator. On the left side, it's a Node.js server. So I know this looks like React, but in fact, it's just JSX rendering something, some Rise components, we call these.
They're Rise components on the server, not React components.
Yeah.
So also, I see you've got the info tab open. This is the tab that no one ever uses, right? So
that was like the best way to mess
kind of a safe place for doing something crazy. So I'm going to open up the info tab on my phone as well. And maybe we should just test something here to see if this works at all. Because like, if this works, this is absolutely insane. Like everyone knows about the venue, right? Like we're all here already, right? But the sponsors are really important because they make this whole event possible. Let's just bring the sponsors up to the top. Okay, and there it's changed. And is it going to change on my phone as well? This demo is absolutely crazy because if this works, your computer here is going to act as the server for absolutely everybody here.
Yeah.
So it would be a miracle if it worked. It's going to work in just a second, surely. But for now, yeah, I'm going to restart my app and see if that helps. But either way, I think we should continue on. And what's funny about this is it's using WebSockets, so it should be updating live. But here we are in a real world live demo situation. So I think we should continue on, and this way we can at least see what it's like to develop on the app. And who would have thought that at conference Wi-Fi, your laptop being the server for however hundreds of people are here, it's not instantly updating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna try just in case.
So
okay,
what we're doing,
that was actually my fault.
It updated.
It is working.
There we go.
Yeah, there's go.
Oh, wow.
So here's the crazy thing, We're actually tunneling servers straight from this Mac through a Go tunnel that we built, that we published on $5 VPS. It's all crazy. The fact it works is pretty, it's a miracle.
I can't believe we're attempting this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy, but it's more fun now. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we've seen that we can at least rearrange some components that have already been defined in the client, but and there's some cool sponsors here, but you know who's not getting recognized enough is all of the open source libraries that have put hundreds of hours in open source software. So maybe I think we should put a new tier of sponsors.
What would we call it?
Well, we've got like gold, silver. What's the lowest? Like brick.
Is that because you can brick your app with these? Or what's that?
Well, we hope that this doesn't brick your app.
Okay, but I guess we can continue.
Let's add the brick sponsor tier.
Okay.
And so here we've got a view, normal view, and themed text. Where's themed text coming from?
Yeah, so view and image, these are actually components that come straight from React Native, and theme text is a component from the conference apps. That way, when we render brick sponsor, it will actually look just like anything else we have in the app. So I think we can just go ahead.
Yeah, we should put us below all the real sponsors.
Okay, there we are.
And there we are. Okay,
Nice.
so we've got this this working. So now that we've demonstrated that we can live edit an application in production and add new concepts to it while it's already in production, let's do something a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is the first React Universe Conf, but I know it's well established that this is not the first edition of this
raise your hand if you are here
conference.
for the first time. Okay, so fun fact about this amazing conference is that we've been hosting this ever since like 2017, so you got a lot of catching up to do, I guess. So maybe we can help you with that.
Yeah, so there's tons of amazing content from previous years. Like let's show it. We could have like a video library that we link from the info screen. So that way we get kind of like a Netflix experience of all of the cool talks that have happened here in the past few years. So let's go ahead. You've got this archive info. This is an info section and the button that's coming from the app.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this button, and what is this navigate thing? What is this on-press handler? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just the way to tell, to perform side effects after something happens on the client. So in this case, what it means is that every on-press happening on the client, you want to navigate to a new screen. That's pretty much how server can statically ahead of time specify side effects like this.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Browse, and I get taken to an empty screen. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we haven't added that one yet.
Oh, so we can add the screen dynamically.
Of course.
OK, so let's go ahead and do that.
So before I go and explain it, let's just put it here.
OK, so you're adding it to the models, and the archive is lining up with what we did before.
Yeah.
And boom, the screen's on my app.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at what is this archive.
It's a view, and it's a view. Anyway, it gets the data from the database. We'll get into it later, and then it just renders regular components. I mean, it specifies components to render. In this case, a scroll view and headings of previous editions.
OK, so it's talking to a real database. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Let's get the videos to show up.
Yeah. So for this one, we have prepared this little component called edition. Which again is just a component that takes title and an array of videos. It's a horizontal flat list. We'll get into the contents later, but let's go ahead and just replace this one with the actual edition, and you guys should all see the actual videos from previous editions.
So yeah, this isn't React code, but look at this. This is working. It looks like React code. It feels a lot like React code, but it's just happening on our server.
Yeah.
And here I see another action, open URL.
Yeah. So this is just it's an action, right? Opens URL. Like I don't know what to say here, but it's pretty much what it is. We can click it, and on press we can go and watch Vicenti guy talk. That's probably you, I guess.
Uh-oh.
What a coincidence that it's the first one actually, even though it wasn't the first one at that conference. But whatever. So yeah, that's it.
OK, very nice. Look at this. Well, we've added a new feature to the production application. I don't know if the tunnel wants to be restarted right now, but oddly enough, we have not managed to test this with hundreds of users until now.
Yeah.
So this is exciting stuff.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to restart it just in case. Maybe we reached the limit of $5 VPS, actually.
Yeah?
I knew that was too cheap to run it.
Here we go. It did show up in a second. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So yeah, probably we just have to keep on reloading, but whatever. So this is how we can incrementally adapt SDR into an existing React Native app with Rise tools.
Wow. Now, that was an incredibly cool demo, but I think everyone here is probably wondering the same thing, which is, what? Like, how did that work? Like, there were some missing steps of explanation, like how this was actually showing up on our phones. So I think we need to go into a little more detail.
Yeah, I guess we can break down Rise component, and I'll let you start with the high-level overview.
Yeah, so the Rise component is how you install this into your application. This is just a normal component you can install from NPM. It requires, at the very minimum, the components and a model source.
And components can be, either higher-order application-specific components, such as sponsors info, that you may want to use, or you can include design systems so that you can build those components on the server from scratch. And model source is obviously the client. This is what connects to the server, and that's how you get the updates through.
You can also specify actions to the Rise component. So your server can send custom behavior like we've seen with Navigate and the open URL button handlers. And lastly, you can provide a path to specify which model on the server you want this component to render.
And if you're using a navigation library, such as Explorer, you can get path from route params, and that way you make a dynamic screen.
OK. Well, Mike, I think we're doing such an incredible job at explaining this. Everyone is following along. This is so simple. But maybe we should continue by explaining how the server side of this is all going to work.
Yeah. So on the server, you pass in the models objects with paths as keys. And a basic model, as you see on the screen, is just a function that returns some JSX. But there's more. There is a bunch of other different models that you can think of as sort of building blocks.
So let's go over these building blocks. First off, we have the query model. And that allows you to define an asynchronous function that's going to allow you to access some data from a database, file system, or an external API.
And whenever you update the source, you can invalidate the model. And the query function will run again.
Next, we have the state model. And the state model allows you to save some state, some data in your server's memory.
And it's kind of like React's use state, right?
It looks like use state, but it's not a hook. This is totally different.
Yeah, it kind of works the same way, in a way that each time you call the setState function, if there is any other model that depends on it, it will reload, refresh, just like sort of in React, I would say. So that's what makes this different from, say, a global variable you may have in your scope.
OK, so how are we going to use, or how are we going to view the query model and state model? Well, with a view model, of course, which allows you to define with a get function, you can read the current value of any other model.
And we use the get function to track dependencies so that whenever you access state model or something else through the get, we know which should be reloaded on the update.
Absolutely. And the last building block we're going to talk about is the lookup model. And that allows you to define other models with an input query parameter. So it takes the string and it outputs the model.
And you can pass in param to a lookup model through a path. So for example, if path is video/123, ID will be 123, and the actual query that will run, as you can see on the bottom, will be with ID 123.
So each of these models are quite simple, and that's pretty fun. That's pretty beautiful, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, you can build pretty powerful APIs and applications with these just by composing them in like different unique ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is an incredible abstraction. It's perfect. Nothing's going wrong here, OK?
Thank you.
They love our models, Mike. Listen to them.
I know.
All right, let's go into a little bit of a deeper example that shows how they come together.
So, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is like example of it all together. So first, we can combine lookup and query together. That's how we load, videos by year, so you can sort of load something based on param. Then you can combine lookup with a view, and that's how you display something specific depending on param. And at the very end, you register archive on a models object. And as you can see, path, like there is nothing on the key in that object that would sort of signalize that there's potentially a path that you can pass, but still you can pass path. And that's how you go to archive 2022.
OK, this is all coming together. Clearly, we've kept the complexity to a manageable level. I think we've built the perfect library together.
Yeah.
But I do dream of making it super easy for people to get started, especially to get started with Rise Server.
Like with npm create Rise?
Oh, wow. So we would have a super beautiful one-line command so that people can get up and running with Rise today?
Man, I've built so many CLI tools in my life. This is like the fun part.
Yeah. Cool.
Like, maybe not many users, but surely a lot of cool stuff inside.
Yeah, Rise will be different.
So with npm create Rise, we have this beautiful ASCII logo, and it gives you the dev server environment. It's everything you need to get started, pretty much. And when you run npm run dev, it will start things up for you. We actually have, we're running this tunnel service for free if you want to use it. Maybe, together we can upgrade from $5 to $10 VPS, so next demo goes better. But that's it.
The next demo was always better. But Mike, I'm confused. We've got this QR code that it prints out. Who's going to use this QR code? How does this even work?
Yeah, I mean, first we need to install the Rise Playground from the App Store.
Oh, there's an app.
Of course.
Oh, beautiful.
And then the QR code will go straight to the app and it will preload your application to the device. And if you don't have the QR code, like this poor Eric that was recording this video, you have to type it in.
Yeah, well, you can always type in the server. So we've got this app, and we know that we need to install the components client side. So you might wonder, what components can you use inside this playground environment? And actually, that is why we built RiseKit. So RiseKit is a suite of, it's a growing, expansive suite of components and actions that allow you to build all sorts of fun applications.
Yeah, and we've been inviting people to contribute and give us feedback to this kit, and we invite you to do us the same. And clearly, we're doing a great job just based on the status on GitHub. Yeah,
people have been super eager to contribute to RiseKit. And so with Rise Playground and RiseKit, you can prototype and build internal tools for your company. So that way, you don't have to wait for another App Store review.
Yeah, I think this is this one has been shown too many times. We can maybe get over with the memes and let some work
Are you getting tired? Are you getting tired of the memes like this guy?
This is good, yeah. This should actually be Play Store these days, because it's Play Store is just crazy with the release times.
Well, let's actually go ahead and build something with Rise Playground. And maybe we should build an internal tool. OK, here we go. So this is actually what it looks like when you run npm create Rise. This is the starter it gives you. But we can't scan the QR code. We're going to have to connect it manually.
Yeah, we have to type it in.
Yeah, warm up. we've got the fun. This is the fun demo here. So
yeah, this is the one when I'm actually typing, not just pressing keys.
Yeah, exactly. It gets tough when we actually have to
Do the
type,
live demo,
type
right?
the demo. Anyways, this is the actual production Rise Playground application that you can get in the app stores right now. And there we go. So it's connected via WebSockets, of course. And as we've been talking about a little bit, you can actually use a tunnel, and you don't even need to be on the same network necessarily if you start the dev server with a tunnel and use the QR code.
Ready, of course.
Yeah, exactly. On our $5 VPS. What could go wrong?
OK.
So let's go ahead and add a admin panel where we can manage different years of UniverseConf, because we're going to want to manage the content that's part of our application here.
Yeah, I think we can start with the list of previous editions as a starter. And obviously, I'm going to just fast track it a bit so we have enough time to explain it. And that's what it is. It's a view model and a get model. And I guess we did already explain that, so that's pretty obvious. But maybe you're all wondering, what's that all years looking like? And it's a query model, and we have a Prisma query inside, so we're actually getting this from a local DB this time to avoid any issues. But it is kind of live, getting live data from whatever is your database hosted.
OK, we're talking to a Postgres database. That sounds production ready. All right.
Of course.
So let's go ahead and make it so that when you tap on one of these editions, it'll go and show us all the videos from that year.
Yeah, so right now when we type, nothing obviously happens because we haven't defined that screen. But we can add that screen in, and I'm just quickly going to add it, and then we'll go over it.
OK, so we're adding this new screen to the models. Here we go.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. We have a lookup model. This time a lookup because edit year can be any year you pass in. And then inside it, we have videos by year model. And videos by year model is a lookup model. So as you can see, it has query inside. And for different year, there will be a different query with independent caching. And then we have a flat list with just list of those editions and a link. Videos and link to an actual video.
I see. So here we're going to navigate to yet another screen for the individual video, and we're going to pass the ID as part of the path.
Yeah.
OK, so it looks like we need to build one more screen here.
Yeah. Edit video.
OK, this is going to be fun. We have some new stuff going on this screen. For example, we have the Rise form. And there we go. So let's take a look at what the Rise form does, because it actually manages a bit of client-side state to manage the form state, so you can have like normal text input.
Yeah, we wanted to make it slightly easier and faster to do it, so it kind of looks like a web form. You can put as many fields as you want inside, and then you have this on submit on form. So each time you press a save or like submit the form, you will get a console log in your terminal. And like I told you, we're running this locally, and this is actually console log from the server, not from React or anything like that. So that's how we can access the data.
Very cool. Well, I guess we need to go and implement this onSubmit function, because we actually need to go and update the database. Like this is an app that's already in production. People are already seeing this inside of the conference app. So here, directly from what is basically your view, we're modifying the database directly in line. This is really, really convenient. But I think we're going to need to go and invalidate those query models, so that way we can have them refetch from the database, and everything should stay up to date for everybody. Video.get maybe content.id.
Yeah.
And the year. So yeah, we have two different models that we need to go and validate as a result. And we're also going to want to have some feedback to the user to tell them, like, hey, thanks for updating the video updated, confirmed.
So we can do the response. When we return response from the server function, it's just a way to tell that there are some side effects that you want to execute on the client. In this case, we want to show
a toast
with some feedback.
So yeah, if you return data from this function, it's actually going to send it back to the client as data. But if you return it with response, it allows you to send actions.
Yeah, so we could, for example, return a validation error if you had something like Rise form, for example, on the client. So yeah, let's just press save, and clearly works. So I guess we can. Well,
I think we should actually. This is my talk from 2 years ago, and this talk I'm not feeling too good about it, because the project. It's on a indefinite hibernation right now. The project isn't dead. It's just indefinitely hibernating. So I want to get people a little bit more excited about this talk. Maybe we can replace the thumbnail with
Surely
something a little bit more spicy
we can
to get people a little more excited about this.
We can make it feel more like 2024, I guess.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and replace the thumbnail so that way we have a nice example of what we can do with our internal tool. Okay, it's called clickbait.png. What could that possibly be? Oh no. Well, yikes. Yikes. I mean, I do want to click that video, but also, you know, Mike, I'm feeling pretty guilty about this. And is this actually affecting the production application? Like, everyone's seeing this right now?
I see it locally.
Oh, no. OK, wow, this is working a little too well. You know, I think we should actually, in our internal tool, we should maybe build a button to delete a talk, just in case this clickbait is going to cause us some regret.
Yeah. So we can add a delete button, and it's pretty much very similar to the form on submit. It's a button from Tamagui. We have theme, icon, on press, pretty much same stuff. It's just that we're deleting video instead of updating it. We're validating those two models, and we're going to return some feedback plus navigate away, because obviously there is nothing to show anymore. And I'm actually not sure what would happen if we deleted without going back, so maybe let's not try this one.
Yeah, so
Are you ready to say goodbye to Eric Vicenti 2022?
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to admire how simple this button is, and it gives us everything. It gives us the view, and yeah, I love to see this thumbnail on the screen just for a little while longer. But I think it's about time. We should cut our losses on this video. We should delete it.
All right.
And it's gone.
That's gone.
It's gone from production. It's been removed from history.
And it should be removed from the client as well, but just in case, I'll restart the tunnel again. I think it's the problem with this Wi-Fi, because just judging by the time of thumbnail loading, I guess there is something clearly wrong.
Are you sure it hasn't actually gone?
It's gone. It was.
Or yeah, it was. Yeah. So it's everything's working.
Yes.
Okay, that was so much fun. Yeah, we just delivered an entirely new experience.
Yeah, so now we have it both ways. You can incrementally adapt server-defined rendering with Rise in your existing application.
And you can use the Playground app to prototype new features and deliver internal tools for your team.
And that was our quick introduction to Rise tools.
It allows you to rapidly iterate on your app and immediately deliver new content and features.
And if you want to try this out in production, because as you can clearly see, everything goes right.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, we have dedicated support agents standing by, ready to answer your support requests.
Yeah, so you'd have to be a little bit crazy to put Rise in production, I guess. But you know what? That hasn't stopped me.
Right.
So yeah, I want to talk briefly about this little structure that we built. You know, it's like 20 meters wide. It's got 25,000 LEDs. And this thing is entirely powered with a JavaScript server running this in real time. And of course, it uses Rise Playground for the iPad control app, which allowed super fast iteration and deployment as we added new features to this thing. So Rise Tools is in production. This was at Burning Man with 60,000 people, you know, just last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I was listening to Mike's keynote in the morning when he was talking about the universe and making, you know, all these platforms accessible with React, I was like, you know, thinking about these platforms, and I just didn't realize, you know, 25,000 LEDs counts as a platform, but clearly it is a pretty cool stuff.
It's a beautiful universe here.
Yeah, so
that's about it. Yeah, if you'd like to learn more about Rise Tools, go to our lovely domain, rise.tools.
Give us a star on GitHub, because we are growing, and I guess if you have any questions, find us around, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, React Universe Conf.
Thank you.
Thank you. What an amazing demo.